Okay.
Father God, we just thank you for being able to run our wonderful city of Benton Harbor. I just ask that you bless each person that's here and guide us as we make decisions that affect the residents and affect this great city of Benton Harbor. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yield to the city clerk for roll call.
Commissioner Clark Griffin, Commissioner Henderson,
Present.
Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Isom, Commissioner Kennard,
Present.
Commissioner Singleton,
Present.
Commissioner Warren,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats, Mayor Mohammed.
Present.
You have a quorum.
This brings us to the approval of minutes, regular minutes, March 4, 2024. Is there a motion to approve? Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Singleton. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard,
Present. Me, yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to the approval of accounts payable listing. Is there a motion for the approval? Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson. Is there support?
Support.
It is supported by Commissioner Warren. Is there any discussion? Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
I did get off some inquiries, and they did respond to it. I want to make sure that all of my colleagues saw it. I have some issues on some of the legal fees, and I wish everyone would really pay attention, how many attorneys we're paying and what we're paying them for. And if we're paying them for the same phone call twice, I have a problem with that. So I'm asking you, each one of you, take a little time out to look at those pay and see what's going on. And thank you.
Duly noted. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Henry,
No.
Commissioner Kennard,
No.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to our presentation on this evening. I&M Transmission Project, AKA AEP. Are there representatives present?
So, no, they are present virtually, and they're going to join us virtually, and I'm going to represent the company in person.
We're loading.
While we're waiting to connect, I'll pass out the presentation. She has one. Can I give it to you after? Do you have an extra one? No? Okay, I can just go with the presentation on this. Are you good?
We're still trying to join.
Okay. While we're waiting, I'll just go ahead and start off with, so I know most of you, but I don't know some of you, so,
Be seated.
oh. I'm Mona Livingston, and I'm the External Affairs Manager for Indian Ocean Power. And I'm here this evening to present mainly three things. I want to give an update on the Main Street substation. What I want to share is that the work is going as per plan, and we should have the substation ready by the end of this year and completely functional. And then there are two other parts that we want to present today. For one of the projects, we do need easement approvals, but the other project is really more like, it's coming down the pipeline, and we want to make sure that the commission is aware of it. But we don't need any approvals yet on that because we haven't gotten that far down where we have narrowed down the easements where we can bring them up. And I do have John Hostel, who is our right-of-way agent, and Eric Giffey, who is our outreach specialist, joining us virtually. They live in Ohio. They were here last week presenting to the Public Safety and Utility Commission, and then they're joining us virtually. So I will hand it to John. Are you ready? Not yet. Yes, we're good now.
Please proceed. Proceed. Chair recognizes First Ward Commissioner Henderson.
Yeah, I just had a question around, security around those, areas, will new fencing, higher fencing, be placed around those? Is it, brick? I know the one on Main Street was changed, the substation's, entryway and how it looked. Will any of the other, stations receive any of those kinds of treatments?
I don't,
No, I'm saying the fencing around those, areas, are those upgraded? Will all of those things remain the same, the security measures surrounding, the areas that'll be, that we're
around the
addressing?
Main Street
Yes,
substation or the others?
the other substations.
Um,
I know the one on Main Street, that that was changed and that was upgraded around the other ones, is what I'm asking.
John,
For the record, the Pearl Street is in Benton Township.
not in the city.
Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner Henry.
Thank you. I would like to know what your policies on with vegetarian, the trees you're taking down and anything else green. What is your policy on that? Thank you.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Kennard.
How are you addressing the ground cover situation? Grass. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Question is, who maintains or makes sure that the easement is safe, in safe conditions, and also the repair and maintenance of the easement? I do have a couple other concerns because we're a 30-foot easement. When you walk the center line of the road, 30 feet each way, that's 60. For some reason, if it was 10 or 15 before, is added frontage or footage necessary to develop, and then with land clearing, which you're clearing the land, who's going to be responsible for safety measures after that, or if injury happens on that easement because of anything with the easement, who's responsible? Injury. That was not answered. The third party injury, who's responsible if the third party gets injured on that easement?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Just through the chair to the city attorney, have you looked at this easement and is it lawful or legal for the easement owner to make sure that this is kept in a safe condition, the easement, so that there is no injury to a third party or anybody else?
Yes, so the city has a general liability policy that would cover all city property. So the property would be covered by the city's policy. We can negotiate that in the easement. If an injury occurred because of negligence of AEP, we could negotiate that AEP potentially put the city on as an additional insured on their policy. That is something that I've seen in the past. I have not seen an easement yet, but I don't think we're at that point yet. I don't know if the easements have been written yet. So I would look at that before the city would sign anything.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
So I see what's in front of the council tonight is resolution approving easements to Indiana Michigan Power Company. Is that correct? So I just want to Camelback off of the Mayor Pro Tem. Have you seen any easements that we will be approving tonight?
So I'm just looking at a packet. I think I looked at a resolution.
Have you seen the easements?
No.
Is it necessary that you review the easements?
I think that you can approve them subject to attorney review. Does that work, or can you wait until the next meeting for full approval?
I think approving them additionally would work, as long as, you are okay with reviewing them, and then we can modify if there's something that you need added or.
Okay, the easements are fairly standard, and I'm assuming you're giving the same easements to the city of St. Joe. These are very standard easements, so I would feel comfortable with you approving subject to my final review. And there would be things that. Perfect. I think tonight's review and tonight's approval will get that process started, so it's not held up. I'm sorry, was that a question to me?
No,
I'm sorry, I wanted to make sure I didn't miss something from you.
Yeah, so, Madam Clerk, looking at the resolution, where should we insert, pending, subject to attorney review?
We could put that in the very last paragraph.
Now therefore be it resolved. So that would come
Yeah.
behind.
It would come after all of that is read, subject to attorney review.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Is there any way possible that we could somehow report on the language that St. Joe also want to change and the language that we all have changed? And come back to this body to show, because if something is not right or something that we don't approve of, I would hate to give a silver spoon and, it's not be properly represented. I'm not saying you won't do your job,
I agree.
but I think that before St. Joe is voting on this, this is the question. Did it go back to the legal team before they're voting on it? And the concerns,
Or St. Joe?
from what is being said from the chair, that it has to go through the legal team and then they're working on some verbiage to come back to vote on it, or has it already been voted on?
So we would resolve it with the legal team, and as long as the legal team is comfortable, I think it was approved. If we are not able to resolve it, then we would come back. I don't see
Question
the
was,
possibility of us not resolving it with the legal team, though.
the question was, had St. Joe, have they approved it?
John, has St. Joe approved it?
Yes, I think it's important that we see what St. Joe City is doing, especially if it's a shared easement, and I can contact the St. Joe City attorney. I think she will be more than willing to share that because we don't want to sign two easements that are not either similar or identical. It just doesn't make sense. So I think that would be the next step, and that shouldn't take very long. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that, Mr. Hostel, that you do not want to practice law without a license. Thank you. Any other, from the council? Assistant City Manager, do you have any input?
No, sir, we met and reviewed, what they were gonna do some time ago, but
Thank you. Any other from your team, any other input from your team?
Not on this.
Yes, you can present them to Mr. Little and the city attorney, and they will update us. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Livingston, for your presentation.
We do have a second part, which is just for an information that we were asked to present. There is no approval needed on that one.
Well, we have a long meeting tonight.
That's fine too, and I completely understand that.
And if we could bring it back
Absolutely.
in the future, thank you. This brings us to our public participation on our agenda, citizens' comments. If you would like to participate, you can register with the city clerk and she will call you based upon the registration list. Madam Clerk.
Sherry Schlaggy.
Good evening. Last meeting, as a community member, I spoke on the need for education within our community, quality education, spoke on the need for jobs, spoke on the need for housing. And at the close of the meeting, Dwayne Seats, you made some comments regarding teachers. And yes, we do need quality teachers. And I am an educator, and I was in the Benton Harbor school system in 21-22, serving as a science educator. And I want to assure you that it's a leadership problem within our school system. It's not a teacher problem. And so here we have on 10, 12, 21 school board meeting, we had maybe 4 resignations at this time, and we lost our guidance counselor, Chanda Remsen. So she could not remain in that environment. Here we have 9/14/21. We had a social studies teacher resign, a special ed teacher resign, an art teacher resign. That's 9/14/21. That's a leadership problem. That's not a teacher problem. Here we have 12/14/21. 8 more resignations. That is a leadership problem. That is not a teacher problem. When we had our chief financial officer reporting here on 6/14/22, I had many questions about where our money was being spent. I contacted Mr. Ross Ford of the state of Michigan numerous times because that chief financial officer was out of compliance. He's a graduate of Notre Dame. I'm pretty sure he knows how to balance the books, but out of compliance. That's not a teacher problem, that's a leadership problem. So here we have Benton Harbor compared to St. Joe regarding how much of our money is allocated to instruction. St. Joe, over 19, wow. Is that million? Wow. Here we have Benton Harbor, 6 million. Now I realize St. Joe has a larger student population, but we should be spending at least half. And we have a number of students who have neurologic issues because of lead poisoning. So we need more SPED services, and we are funded, but yet we are not spending our money in the classroom. That's not a teacher problem. That's a leadership problem. As an educator within the system, I presented to the school board a number of times, and some of you might know Trenton Bowens. Here's a QR code where you can hear him telling blatant lies about me to the election commission over in Berrien County because I filed a recall. Well, when our public servants are posing the problem, when leadership is the problem, then we file recalls. That's what we ought to do. And here you'll see me presenting. So I just wanted to clear the air, Mr. Seats. It's not a teacher problem we have with our educational system here in Benton Harbor. It's a leadership problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Victoria Davis.
Good evening. I just wanted to come tonight and let you all know about an event that we're doing on April 2nd, with present pillars from the community. We're going to be doing an autism walk. We're planning to march from the Pillar Center downtown to the Benton Harbor Library, and it's going to be from 12 to 2. I'd love to see you all. I am a mother of a child with autism, and he's 8 years old, and this is something that I'm extremely passionate about, bringing our community citizens together to hopefully form support. These are a lot of things that are done in other communities, so I would love to bring that to our community. So I would love to see you all. It'll be very quick because, as you know, our children don't have the greatest attention span. So we just want to raise awareness. It takes a village. So if we can get our community citizens, even if your family is not affected, you never know if you will be. So I would love to see some of you there, and I just wanted to make note of that. Thank you for your time.
What's the date again?
April 2nd, which is actually Autism Awareness Day. April is Autism Awareness Month, so we've decided to do it on April 2nd. Our children will be out of school for spring break. So we just want to raise awareness and bring some positivity to the community. Thank you.
Could you please provide any information, flyers to the city clerk?
I will
That
get
way.
that to you. It's in the make. I'm waiting for a gentleman to get that to me. So within the week, I'll bring it to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Duncan.
As the city manager, you who I really wanted to talk to, because I seem to have a problem with the rest of you guys sometimes. You don't have to answer that question right now. I want to know though, because it's been well over a month or something, seemed like it to me. And I haven't seen him in that seat, and it looks different, a lot different. He should be sitting up there. I like to see that space covered. That's my point. When it comes to people coming and asking questions about putting up easements and all of that, I noticed from the beginning there was no questions out of any of you, and I'm not learned like that, but to have no questions out of you guys during the initial procedure. I think Mr. Seatsford had some questions. He came out and he had some, but plus you guys, I know You don't know nothing about an easement. But it don't hurt to ask a question and let somebody know you don't know about an easement. You're not all that bright. You can ask a question. It's okay to ask a question. It's better than not asking one and have somebody like me notice. Thank you.
No more comments.
Thank you to all those who participated in the public participation of the citizens' comment section on the agenda. This brings us to the consent calendar. Are there any are there any items that should be removed, or should the consent calendar be accepted as is? Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner Henry.
The fourth resolution, to approve lifting the moratorium on the water disconnection.
Madam Clerk,
Any motion?
is there a motion for the approval? Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Singleton. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard,
No.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
No.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
I'm sorry, what's the motion?
The consent calendar.
Oh, yes.
Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
motion carried.
This brings us to the separated item number 4, resolution to approve lifting the moratorium on water disconnections. Is there a motion for the approval? Motion to approve. Motion is made by Mayor Pro Tem Seats, is supported by Commissioner Henderson. Is there discussion? Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
I would like to have whoever presented this to have a discussion. I followed up on this a couple of times today, and I would like it to be presented so everyone can hear what the intentions are.
Chair recognizes our Assistant City Manager, Director Lilly. Would you please speak into the microphone?
Do you wish to have me read it into the record? Resolution to approve lifting of moratorium on water disconnections. Whereas the city of Benton Harbor placed a moratorium on water shutoffs or disconnections during the extended period primarily in the pandemic at its regular commission meeting on March 16, 2020, and the subsequent period of landline replacement that lasted a number of months. And whereas the pandemic is ended, the water lines have been replaced throughout the city, as well as in many of the homes through the state of Michigan's Lead Safe Homes program, to which every resident had the opportunity to apply. And whereas to ease the financial burden on water customers during the period of the moratorium, the city even made payments and credits for water customers' bills to help ease the financial burden. And whereas while some agencies may still offer filters as a convenience, they are no longer required. The free bottled water is no longer available. The water is safe to drink and for all of the household uses. And every water customer should now be paying their water, sewer, and trash bills and making payment arrangements with the water department if there are unpaid balances. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and City Commission of the City of Benton Harbor does hereby approve the lifting of the moratorium on water shutoffs and encourages every customer to immediately pay their water, sewer, trash, and refuse bills, and to make arrangements for regular payments to eliminate past due balances. Further be it resolved that effective April 2nd, the city shall begin shutting off water service to customers who have not paid or made satisfactory arrangements with the city for payment of any past due balances. City Commissioner Benton Harbor and the certificate.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. Just a couple questions. Number one, I would think that we should at least give the residents 30 days from the implication of the resolution. And also, I think we do need to go back to door tags, because just shutting somebody off, not knowing they're being shut off. Sometimes you don't know where the mail is going or whatever. And also, we also need to work on a leak policy or some kind of policy for people who are delinquent, and ask them to come in and pay a certain amount of money. But I think it's kind of, I wouldn't just go out and say, because what happens is if you gaslight it, it's gonna light. So if somebody owes $900 or $800 right now, and you shut them off and tell them you gotta pay the whole $800 to get shut on, that's gonna come back on us. Because then you're gonna have somebody who's disconnected, without services, without water. So they give them an opportunity to come in and rectify, remedy a problem. I think we'll be creating more problems than that. So I would say 30 days. Also give them an opportunity to come in and work out a payment arrangement. Or even send them, because honestly, when it comes to our water payments, we have not truthfully, I'm not gonna go into that, but it has not truthfully been something that has been pleasurable dealing with over the years. So people need to know that we're a different regime, a different body. I would just ask that we go back to the door tags, give them 30 days from the application of the resolution, work out payment arrangements that are feasible to a resident that can afford it. But then also, I would ask that we take out the word safe.
Amen.
Because if you're saying that this water is safe to drink, and then we also, and it's kind of contradictory, because we said that everybody who applied, so if a resident didn't apply for the lead program, or didn't have the opportunity to get, and we said that 99 or 98, or how many other homes have been remedied, as far as the outside lines, but there's some insides that I don't know if Home Depot were able to get to, or whoever was doing the plumbing were able to get to and assist them in their calamity. So there's some wording in there that is kind of, because they did not get the service, because I know they cut off at a certain point. Some people wasn't answering the door, some people wasn't coming to the door. But to say it's safe for everybody for normal use to drink, that's just, I'm only one vote. So thank you, Honorable Chair. I would ask that we consider.
Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Kennard.
She was first though, she had her hand up first. So.
You recognize.
All right. One of the things that I'm thinking about, we had a 5% increase on our water voted on. But then that was to help rectify the problem that we had with our water. So if the governor came in and she put in the money to take care of that, why are we still paying that 5% on beyond that point if she took care of that? So I want to know what is going on with the constant increase on our water percentage.
The governor did not come in and take care of the increase. The increase was connected to a bond that the city entered into or received from a resolution from 2020.
Well, what was it implemented for? What was it put in place for?
So at that time, we replaced 150 lead lines, the work that you see on Pipestone, the work that you see on Highland. We also got the water tower repaired and painted. A lot of water mains that were not in compliance. Some were 2 inches, or 4 inches should be 8 inches. So we did a lot of infrastructure work with that bond, as well as work with the streets and lead lines and with our water tower. So that's where the 5% increase, 5 to 7%, which ends in 2025.
So in other words, now that it's been cleared that the water is safe, so our infants' formula and anything else that water can be used for those babies. Those are the ones that would be affected the most.
So I asked that the resolution reflect the testing that has been done over the last 2 years, where the city is at 1 part per billion, according to our testing. So the 1 part per billion from 15 to 10, and now we've decreased all the way to 1. So that's what I wanted to see in the resolution, so people know the progress that has been made. The state of Michigan, as you do know, and it's in the resolution, has ceased and desist giving out water because of the decrease in the parts per billion and the progress, not only in our parts per billion, but also the progress that has been made with the water filtration plant. So we're in complete compliance with the Safe and Clean Drinking Water Act at this time, and have been for the past couple years. So we're at around, I believe, 30% collection, 70% delinquents. And in order to maintain our water filtration system, it does cost money to run. But I do agree with the pro tem that maybe we can amend April 2nd to May 2nd and give residents more time to set up payment plans. They can set it up where whatever the past due is, it can be broken up into 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And all they would need to do is, start somewhere. We consulted with a company where they do this across the nation, where they work with municipalities to help residents to get back on track, and ultimately with the goal to eliminate the past due balance. But the approach that we want to take, Mr. Little, is restorative, not punitive. And that's why we want to have the payment plans, have the staff work with residents, and help them to get back on track. Because we do know that there has been a lot of issues with the water system, with the water filtration plant, with the distribution, with the billing even. So I think that we're taking a step in the right direction. I did recently write a letter to Senator Peters seeking federal funding to help with the situation. However, it's difficult to ask for help and ask for funding, and we are not even collecting. So we have to show that we are being good stewards and managers of collection. But that doesn't mean that, we're going to come like the mafia and we're going for the knees and the ankles, for lack of a better example.
But what I'm saying, Mayor,
Yes,
we want to assure our residents that when we said that the water is clear, as Mr. Little said, the water is clear to drink, that we can say with assurance, 100%, that this water is safe for our people to drink now, or brush their teeth, or whatever. With the water is completely safe. At CAPCON, I talked to a lady from Eagle, and she called, wasn't able to get a straight answer for me that the water was.
Well, the way that water is measured is through testing. That's how we measure the clarity and if the water is in compliance with the Safe and Clean Drinking Water Act. It's through testing. But if from the filtration plant to the home and, you have a faucet or fixture that has not been replaced, or, there's a lot that can happen. And some can be on the homeowner's side that could compromise the water.
Yes, but I'm talking about from there.
Right, but from the filtration plant to the home, the testing that we have executed says that our water is 1 part per billion as it relates to the percentile for lead. So we are no longer what they call a action-led exceedance community. So that day is past, and we are in compliance at this time. And again, if we do not begin to collect, we won't have a water distribution or water filtration plant, and that'll be another problem. So the number one shareholder for the water system is the residents and the business community. Those are our shareholders. And when you don't get money from those who are paying in, then of course that creates a problem, a financial problem. So we don't want to shut off, but we don't want to shut down either. So if we want to find a way where we can work with residents to prevent any shut off. That's the last thing that I would want to do to anybody, and I don't want to do it, and I don't want to see it happen. So that's why we want to alert, alarm, and give due time to residents to come in, we're pleading, and set up some payment arrangement, even if all you can pay is $25. Because we know it's tight. Inflation, it's a lot of issues financially. We do know that. So, we do need to consider that, but I think that we have the city, and I also wanted how much we have given through our American Rescue Plan Act dollars in the resolution. It's been over $1 million that we've given to residents. I believe it's a total of 1,000 in credits. So the city we've done really a lot, and I don't know of any other municipality in the state that has given, but our situation is peculiar and it's different from anybody in the state. So we've had to do things, unorthodox, but we did it. So at this point, we need some help from the residents. As they say, help me to help you. That's what we need at this time. And, we have to be sensitive to people's situation. The company that we were working with, they can't work with a community that's less than 30,000, I believe it was. So that was why we couldn't bring them in. But they had a system that we're modeling, or I won't say nobody said we still in there. They're playing, but, you know, again, where it's restorative. And, you know, I don't want to see if a resident breaks the plan and needs to get set back up, you know, we're at the door shutting them off. And we have, you know, children inside the house. And I know this is difficult because we need to collect, you know, but this is water it's a humanitarian piece. So, you know, if we was cutting off the soda, okay, that's great, or not, because people make money selling the pop, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, we have to approach this from a humanitarian standpoint. But we also know that the municipality is a business, and we have to be mindful of that as well. Pardon me for the long soapbox tonight. Chair recognizes Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Oh, pardon me, may I, please, I'm sorry, Commissioner Clark Griffin. If you need extra time, you do have it.
Yeah, I need an extra minute. So, what I wanted to say, I was gonna say the same thing Commissioner Seat said, at least about us getting at least another month, you know, before we implement a shutdown notice. And I think as far as, Commissioner Kanaj was talking about, it was increased from what I've seen recent document. It was voted in 2020 to have a water increase, and it's taking effect now. So, just due to water bill increases, we got taxes increase. And then there was, a time recently, almost 3 months, where water bills were not even sent out. So if you didn't notice, you wasn't getting a water bill. Now we got almost 3 months of water bills, you know? So on top of that, and then if people hasn't been paying, say you got a $4,000 water bill. Even if they make arrangements to pay half, that's $2,000. What average resident is sitting here that can give $2,000? So yeah, we have to have empathy and sympathy, you know, when we're making decisions and we are talking about doing things as far as any increase, because residents are suffering. It's so much going on, so many increases, not to mention gas, food, and everything else, you know. On top of that, I was in here last week paying my water bill. It was an old elderly woman in here, and she was in line to pay her water bill. And then I heard her say, how many months? See, even with the letter going out about the shutout was coming, even about, you know, nobody told about the water bill, you know, that we wasn't getting. And I know a lot of people didn't notice, because I didn't even notice. I pay my bills all the time in full, and I didn't even notice. I just pay bills as I get them, whether they do or not, you know. But once I noticed, I went online and paid it all. But not everybody can do that, you know, all at once. So like I said, we just got to meet people where they are. And I know we got to get money, we got to get paid, but we also got to take people financial in consideration. We got elderly people that can't pay their prescription, can't pay their water bill or food. They have to make a decision every month. What are they gonna pay? You know, so I just wanna, you know, and to my knowledge, as far as the charter, if a house don't have running water, it's considered condemned. And if that's true, then you got a homeless issue. You got another pandemic. You got a homeless pandemic. So I'd like to, if I may, amend the motion to make to the resolution to move shut out to, well, notice being sent to May the 2nd. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. My sentiments to most of what the commissioner said. We have to, I guess, come to the realization of what, you know, if we want to continue to own it, or, you know, do something different. I do agree that we need to have definitely some compassion. The 30-day notices is, I think, would be a good thing. And it should go out with, I believe that the door tags should be put out immediately so that they'll know that 30 days, they can come in, make those arrangements, get some help or whatever. So I think that would work, because what's really happening too, not only just the water, we know that our garbage is on the bill too. And, that's really suffering because of, the lack of funds, that the trucks kind of, hard time keeping them up. We also have to pay the wastewater treatment plant every month, their money, So I think this is a step in the right direction. We know that eventually it was going to come a time that we had to, start back paying. But the compassion part definitely is a must. We need to do that, 30-day notice, get those notices out immediately, and folks can start making their arrangements. And,
Chair recognizes Commissioner Henry.
Thank you. I know that over these last 2 years that we had a moratorium, there was some water disconnect, and I never got an understanding of how many it was. So that's my first question to staff, to let us know in how many water were disconnected since the moratorium. About water being safe. That was the first thing I did, was after I heard the state say everything was okay with us because the water line was replaced from the outside to the inside. And they said that was 100%. Not quite sure about that, but I called the health department and I said, well, you're not giving out filters anymore. And they said, oh, yes, we are. We're giving out filters to a family with children. Anybody with children in the household, they're giving filters out to. So that let me know that there might be still some problems there. Lead, even at whatever the mayor said, 1 point something, is still a material that will keep you lead poisoned and a lot of other body injuries forever. It don't go away. So a little bit of it is still just as dangerous as 15 cc's or whatever they call it. So I just warn everyone that if you have children, you continue to use the filters and do everything that you can to secure your pipes underneath the house. We've had a conversation with the state on that program and if they were going to continue it. But I think the price got really high for the people to come in and do it. And that's one reason why they have a pushback on it. But I think that some of us commissioners are still asking for that. But the state of Michigan did a proclamation for Sunshine State, a week. Sunshine Week is was created for transparency in government. They want to look at how government is handled and the ethics of government. And transparency is one of the things that is missing in Benton Harbor. So I'm saying that if we're going to do tagging on the door and we just spent $2,600 to send a letter out for to disconnect, which was way in advance, because we have a moratorium on it. But it's okay to get people prepared, and we need to be after we had 2 years or 4 years of just being devastated by the possibility of lead poisoning. We need to make sure that our people hear this, what we're saying. And that's another reason to have a newsletter to go out to every household in Vietnam. I have to keep bringing these issues up because as the Bible quotes about a person that does not have knowledge, they perish. And I believe it. I've seen it in my own lifetime. Knowledge, the lack of knowledge will kill you. So, I don't know about this water. I just think we just gotta be safe, use your own common sense about it, and be sure that you get involved with the state of Michigan that is supposed to do these galvanized pipes and give you new plumbing. That's important because that's another avenue for lead to get into your body. So we're not quite there in my perspective, but we're definitely making it there. And all the things that I saw in my lifetime and sitting here, our water plant is a valuable, valuable asset. And they have been after that water plant for 35 years that I know of. So if citizens need to come in and pay their bill. Although this is something that I just keep getting angry and angry about. You get a little red card once a month. They charge you $1 for it. The city knows that that card is not even doing the job that it's supposed to do to tell you your bill is late. Because the regular bill tells you the same thing. And I'm thinking, well, just take that little $12 off our bill a year. That hasn't happened, but that $12 could take your grandkids out. There's a lot of things you could do with that $12. As far as I'm concerned, I count every penny in my household. So for us to charge you $1 every month to tell you what the last bill told you, and we do nothing about it, is shameful. So if you talk about compassion, a little bit helps. And that is one of them. We want to do recycling. We can't do recycling because all the bill is on one statement.
Commissioner,
I'm
I
saying,
appreciate it, but
I
we're
know
not-
you do, but
we're
I'm
not
going to
dealing
say
with-
it
We're not
because
dealing with billing, we're dealing with collection.
it's the same thing. Billing and collection run all the same. So if the compassion is there, let's use it. And fix some of these problems that are sitting here, been here. We need to fix it. And if you citizens sit there and hear this and don't come back and make us do it, shame on you. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the Second Ward Commissioner Warren.
So I agree with what a lot of the commissioners are saying. I agree with the 30-day push out. That's a great idea. I do like Pro Tem Seat's comment about door tags. My comment is just mainly just showing support for the residents getting the payment plan. There's nothing in here that's saying the amount they have to pay. I think the mayor mentioned even if they came with $25 a month, whatever they can afford, that can be worked out. So I think I want to make sure the residents are crystal clear that payment plans are an option, but in order for our sewer to work, our water to work, there has to be some income coming in. I don't think any city can afford to have 70% of the bills delinquent and run successfully. So I know there's been a lot of conversation, but I want to make sure the residents are crystal clear that payment plans can work. So whatever you can afford, they can work it out so that you are, going down on your previous bill, but anything is better than nothing. And right now, it sounds like we have 70% that's giving zero. Thank you.
Chair recognizes First Ward Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, and I agree with a lot of the sentiments of the commissioners as well, but I don't think one was discussed enough. And I think one of the issues that we had, the compliance issues, was being able to afford the water plant. And so 70% delinquency means we 70% closer to not owning our water plant. And so just like our electric bills, our gas bills, we are going over and beyond because we need to, but we have to pay those bills, or we will not, as Commissioner Henry talked about. The water plant has been an issue for a very long time. In order to maintain that and to keep it, we have to have our collections and up. People have to pay the bill. Somebody reached out to me, they had a $10,000 water bill. And my question was, why weren't they paying that? And this was before the moratorium. And the young lady said to me, she said, I usually pay one bill once a year, but I must have had a leak, I must have had something, and it's $10,000. And I was like, so what is it that you expect the city to do that you didn't pay the bill at all? And so things like that happen in the city. I don't know how, but they do. So we need people to pay those water bills so that we can keep and operate our water plant. One of the compliance issues was that. They told us that we have to have compliance, or else we were going to lose our water plant. They told us that point blank. So to be clear, we won't have it if the compliance doesn't come, if we don't come into compliance with paying those bills. It is a city, it is a business. It is not a social services or charity organization. It's a city. And so we need to, with compassion, get those bills paid. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I do concur with that. Only problem I have is we also have to be honest. Some of these water bills are already rolled over on taxes, already been recovered off taxes. Then you also have to be honest with the fact that why pay for something that was no good?
That's right.
You're charging full price for bad water. The water was no good. Nobody could use it. It was just coming through the faucet. I understand it, and I'm with the team that you have to run it like a business if you're gonna stay in business. What they do in other arenas is you have the right to pay. You should have put out there, you gotta pay your trash bill. You gotta pay your sewer bill. The sewer's working, but then you have homes where the sewer's backing up in because they didn't even connect the sewer line. So then you were charging people full price for bad product. When you go to a restaurant, the food is no good, you send it back. Maybe I'm wrong. If you go to a gas station and the gas is bad, your car break down, you're trying to find out what's going on. But we're trying to charge somebody for something when we told them, don't brush your teeth, don't wash your clothes, don't wash your behind, don't wash your kids, don't do nothing with the water, and we charge them full board for it. So let's be kind-hearted with it. You know, we can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. Well, in this case, with the water, period, because the water was no good. And now the water becomes good, and we're gonna tell everybody that you gotta pay the full amount all at once for something that you couldn't even utilize. So I think that it behooves us, because we still was getting some collections, because they were putting it on people's tax bills. Those water bills were getting on people's taxes who own homes, so the tenant who leaves the water bills probably left $10,000 water bill on that landlord. It went against their taxes. And it's probably up for foreclosure right now if they didn't get any help, because they were leaving the water bills on the taxpayer, which is not right, you know. So, and then once it hits the county, then the county put an extra fee on it. So if it's $10,000 when it hit the county, then they put the extra 16% on it. Now you got more than that. 18%, I'm sorry. They put that 18% on it. Now you got $11,800 or whatever it is. So, I mean, we have to be kind of sensible here and say, you know, it was not the residents' fault that we told not to use water. It's not the residents' fault that we told them, don't pay the bill. But now since we're getting back to the table, and I'm even want to do a town hall or whatever, and have the residents come in and have some of the payment team or staff or somebody here who can set up payment arrangements, maybe we can do a whole day of it and get people in there with the backlog of bills. I mean, we have to be more proactive than reactive because I know, and then, you know, we can't do for one and we don't do for the other. So we have to set some kind of parameters on what we want to do for the resident, but I'm willing to do it on whatever day that anybody else is willing to give a payday to. And we'll give Commissioner of the Finance Department. I appreciate your time, Mayor. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the Assistant City Manager, Director Little.
Yes, sir, Mayor, of course, we'll do whatever the majority of the commission determines and decides it wants to do. But I would like to, because I've heard a lot of people touch on different pieces of parts of facts, I'd like to just go back and kind of correct some things. The first 2 weeks when I came on board, October 2020, I received a call from one of the agencies. They had a check for us for $250,000 that was being paid on people's water bills, and they wanted to know where to send it to. We got that. Within the next few weeks after that, there were at least 2 agencies for sure that we were working closely with that received millions of dollars to pay on people's water bills. And a lot of money got paid on some of those bills. As time went on, there was a point where I think first, because I believe we made 2 payments from ARPA funds. Second one was like $1 million. The first one was less than that. Also during that period of time, we, there's another program that's still going on called MEHOF, where people could get in touch. In fact, the treasurer's office even had people that were working on it, people who were behind with water bills, sewer bills, taxes, all of it could apply, and the state was paying them. They're still doing some because I received notices and forwarded them over to Lisa to work on. They're paying them up to $25,000 per individual. Many people didn't go to apply when the millions were available. Many people didn't go to apply for the MEHOF program. We, as I said, we put out a good bit of money. But our problem, as you said, is not only that we've got to pay the cost of our water operations if we're going to keep a water plant, same also starts to apply to the city as a whole. I pulled the figures today for just what we paid the landfill for the last 12 months, $238,000 for trash. No trash bills were being collected at all over this extended period. And we're steadily running general fund into trouble. We got the same problem in the cemetery. Because there's no money available, we're having to pay it out of general fund. 2 months ago, we talked about starting to do the shutoffs, and we said we wanted to be sure and get letters out. We sent the letters out. And then a couple of weeks later, we were talking about starting to go, and it was mentioned that a water bill had been skipped. So we took and put a note on the next water bill, apologizing for not notifying them about the bill being missed when it was done. We then proceeded to get set up to send out the letters, and we sent the letters out. We are at a point now where we're deep in the hole in terms of cash flow for this city. And again, sewer, I should mention, I received here about a month ago or 3 weeks ago, a bill from the joint sewage plant, because since that's on the same bill and not being paid, we're in over $100,000 to them. So just say we've got our problems, but we'll do whatever you determine we should.
Thank you. And you know, it's good to get this information. I think what's unfortunate is some of it we're just hearing today. And I do appreciate Director Little for, as you mentioned, Commissioner Henry, the transparency. One of the hardest things to hear is the truth, but it will set you free. So thank you for that information, because there's been many nights where it's no report tonight. So we do have to come to some conclusion as far as what direction we want to go with this, but I do want to recognize the Personnel Finance Chair, Commissioner at Large, Isom.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I just want to say that, you know, we, at the Personnel and Finance Committee meeting, the first thing we get to the accounts, and we've just been robbing the general fund to pay the utility fund. It's every month. Every month, you can see, well, you can't see that, but every month at the Personnel and Finance, we talk about moving money from general fund to utility fund to pay that. You know, if it wasn't for the opera funds, if it wasn't for that money, I don't know. You know, 2.7 in water utility assistance we paid out, 356 the first time, and 700 the second time. You know, but you know, I think we did all we could do. You know, and setting up a plan. I still the 30 days, give them time to get themselves together. But I just sat down there and watched after I paid my bill. You know, and I sat there and watched people. You know, the customer service is important too. How you treat people when they're paying their money, and I done seen a good amount of people paying, getting on the plane, and I think residents want to pay. You know, it's the right thing to do, just like pay your gas bill, light bill, cable bill, or whatever. They want to pay, but you know, just like Commissioner Henry say, compassion. You know, the staff down there greet them with a smile, and you know, they happy to give out their monies. Because we got to keep the city rolling, you know. We can't hit the opera funds no more. We got, I don't know, you know, but Public Works still getting paid a check.
Not enough.
They getting paid.
One order, please.
Electric's still running at the water plant. That money got to come from somewhere. You know, so, you know, but you must keep the city rolling. I think we should just, with the 30 days, and help people come on board.
So I believe Commissioner Clark Griffin amend the April 2nd to May 2nd. I'd like to also amend where it says the water, I would add, is in compliance with the Clean and Safe Drinking Water Act. So the motion is made by Commissioner Clark Griffin and is seconded by the Mayor Pro Tem. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Kennard,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes,
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
other people,
This brings us to staff communication. Chair recognizes our Deputy Director of Public Safety, Deputy Director Clark.
Good evening. Just one thing we want to really push out, we put something on our Facebook page about it earlier this week. Four-wheelers and pocket bikes are not legal for use on public sidewalks or public roadways. So there will be some enforcement done on that. We've had quite a few children get hurt, pulling out in front of cars, getting hit by cars. Those types of machinery can only be used on private property. So four-wheelers, pocket bikes, the little farm bikes you get at the farm store, you cannot use those on public roads or sidewalks in the city.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the Assistant City Manager, Director Little.
Yes, sir, I omitted saying a little while ago, but I realized that if I don't say it, nobody else is to say it. When we talk about paying as little as $25, keep in mind that if we do that in a payment plan, we're going deeper in the hole. The trash bill, the sewer bill, you haven't even gotten to the water bill. If that, I mean, for each month when you add those together. So again, if we're going to realistically begin to deal with our financial problem, we're gonna have to probably do a little better than that.
I'll save my comment. Chair recognizes City Attorney.
I have a positive update on Project T. We got word, I believe it was late last week, that there is a tentative closing date set in mid-June. I don't know if the commission has heard this yet, but I received correspondence from their attorney. I think that's fantastic news. We look forward to working with them on closing documents to get everything taken care of. You're probably going to have more updates as the days progress, but they have tentatively set a closing with Mishka in mid-June. So I think that's something to celebrate.
Chair recognizes City Clerk.
I actually have no report tonight.
Thank you. We do have a closed session tonight. Should we reserve commission comments before or after? Thank you. So I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session under the Michigan Open Meetings Act, MCL 15.268, Section 8H, to consider written attorney-client privilege materials which are exempt from discussion or disclosure by state or federal statute. Is there a second?
So move.
Motion made by Mayor Mohammed and moved by Commissioner Singleton. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats, Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Doing all right?
I mean, I should be over here.
We can get it from now. Oh, I don't.
What's up, sir?
No, we might have to go in his office. I don't know if I can get in. We might have to.
Y'all got keep it off? He said it's piping up. You couldn't hear us out there?
I'll jump on you, don't worry. You told her to do something, though she knows she worked for you.
Let me get your chair for you. Oh, yeah, I'll get that for you.
And you told her to do something she didn't do.
We'll be back
And
up.
you did that at your job, what would happen? They come over and spank you with it.
I think probably the office might be booked.
He was in his.
No, I say, yeah, I guess here it online. Six months, be done.
Like to return from the closed session and return from recess. City Council, I'd like to make a motion to adopt option 2. Board. Motion is made by Mayor Mohammed, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Seats. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
With clarity, I abstained because I was not included in the process.
Commissioner Henderson,
No.
Commissioner Henry,
I abstained because I was not in the process.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard,
No.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion is made to adjourn by Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Support.
supported by Commissioner Singleton. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
2 minutes and 20 some seconds.